All right, guys, real quick, going to address something that I think there's a pretty big misconception about. So, the mag shot, mag shear, Magstorm, these lines of weapons, they have all these lasers coming out of the front of it. Uh, really high rates of fire, lots of damage. Um, so the way these guns work is every one of the barrels of the gun, and it has like they have dozens of barrels basically, has a laser coming out of it, and the bullets from the gun follow the path of the laser and strike where the laser goes. Right? That's the way the gun works. Right? Wrong. That's not the way it works at all. These weapons essentially have like an aimbot where the area where the aimbot works is within the grid of the lasers. Okay? So like for example, let's say you're using the Magstorm, right, which has I don't know like 36 fucking lasers or something. If even one of these lasers is touching like a piece of the enemy that you're trying to hit, every single bullet that comes out of the gun is going to hit that target. It's going to hit that part of the target's body where that laser is touching. So like all these comments that I've seen about these guns being horrendous at anything but close range and their accuracy being like just awful is just like is just so obscenely wrong and way off base. These guns are like at certain ranges and certain conditions are the most accurate guns in the game. Like, and that's perfectly explains why they're so expensive. Like these guns sell for more, and you have to spend more to buy them from vendors than almost every other gun. And it's like, why would they be so expensive? This is why, because the whole time we didn't really know that these guns have aimbot. They're aimbot guns. So I'm just gonna play some footage right as I talk about this. And in these videos, in this play, what I'm doing is I'm testing it for myself. I'm figuring this out in real time. So I had a kind of indicate like an inkling. We were wrong about how these weapons work, and then I was like, okay, well I can easily test this out. So basically, what I was trying to do is I was trying to put like just like a corner of the gun, like where the lasers go, like on the piece of the enemy, and then see where the damage, see how the damage is. So like for example, that last shot shows you like a full damage shot, and there's another full damage shot, even though there was only like a few lasers on the body of the target. Right? So, and the mistake was understandable, people thinking these guns are so inaccurate, because when you would like test fire them, at walls and stuff like that, the bullets would predictably sort of like follow a pattern that would work its way through the dozens of points on the grid. Yeah, so it made perfect sense, but turns out that's just not how it works. And it's super apparent when you're using the mag shot too, which is like basically it's almost like a sniper version of the weapon, because it'll shoot multiple bullets out with one pull of the trigger, and you would think that like if what I'm saying is that not actually correct, that would be like kind of the best way to see it, but it also is the best way to not see it. Anyway, like you can tell from the footage, what I'm saying is exactly the way it works. So there's a bunch of footage to watch here in relation to that, and now I have to say there's a big caveat here. When it so the misconception was that these guns are good and or rather they're bad in medium to long range, and obviously they're super amazing in close range. Like in close range, you it's almost impossible to miss with these weapons. But like you would have to have some kind of severe physical disability where your hands just flail like involuntarily all over the place, like in order to miss something with these guns. But um, like, and it makes perfect sense now why they have no scopes, because they don't need scopes. Like the gun has its own AI, you could say, in a way, that does all the work that a scope would do. Um, but where these guns suffer is instances where you want to put the bullets precisely somewhere on the target. So if you want to go only headshots, these guns are not for that. Or if a target is like almost exclusively behind cover, and you want to pick off like a particular piece of what's exposed, because there could be, let's say, like a head and a shoulder and maybe an arm that's exposed. You don't want to really hit anything. If you only want to hit the head, let's say, this is not the gun for that. And to go into a little bit more depth about how I think the aimbot is working is it's not exactly working to just aim at anything that's within the grid. It's actually aiming at whatever the laser is touching. So, like, in other words, you could have something, a target, within the grid, but if the target is small enough, for example, if it's so far away that the target is fitting in between the lasers, then the target will still be within the square of the grid, but it won't be touched by a laser, and therefore it won't get hit. I'm pretty sure that is how it works. But if any of the lasers have a direct line onto any piece of the target, then all the bullets will go to that point. But suffice it to say that, in short and medium range, these guns will not fail to hit. They're just the aiming is just too smart. They're smart guns, essentially. Just like in some other games that have like an aim assist slash aimbot. But an aimbot that's not a cheat, it's built into the game. And just to show you, too, that all applies to the Magstorm as well, which has a much bigger grid. Here's some footage of that. With all this in mind, it seems that these weapons are like far, far better, far stronger than most people, I think, knew they were, and would put them in definitely a tier higher than you would place them if you didn't know this. So there you go. Hope that helps you. Enjoy.